Um, this was what we talked about last time. We talked about final project. Hopefully after today, we can go back to what we initially started with and to continue our curriculum. But then in the meantime, um, you will need to start develop your project proposal. And it's mandatory. You need to meet with me to discuss those ideas. I mean, my job is help you to develop a successful proposal. In fact, I have two jobs. First job, I want to help you to deliver a proposal that you can get a very good grade. The second one is I try to prevent you to spend too much time on the final project because it's my belief we need to um, doing programming, but we want to programming smart. Okay, we want to find some way that we can use the least amount of effort to get the best result. That's actually a very important lesson to learn as a programmer. Okay, so we talk about some of the grading policy. The most important part is on the idea. I believe the reason I look at this is that when I look at the programming as either a just a skill or as a career, I realize that the skill, the hard skill means that you know the syntax and semantics and the language itself. It's something that you will get it eventually. I mean, as long as you're willing to practice, that you will be a very good programmer from the technology perspective. But what's being missing in as a programmer, as a long-term career option, it's very important to how do you consider some kind of new idea or innovative idea and have the capability to convert those ideas into something that's demonstrable. And that is something which is very, very important. I believe that's more important than whether you know C++ syntax, because you can find tons of people out there, they know about this part. And then there would be AI tool to help us to do that. But ultimately, I believe it's impossible. It's not just going to take a long time, but it's impossible for the innovative idea to be replaced by anything else. So this is always to be connecting with humanity in the long run. Okay, so in this project, I really want to focus on how do you start to understand what's innovative and what's the idea that's actually going to help our society. That's the idea that you're going to have the capability to realize. And this project, I hope you will learn that. And last time we talked about this slide. Let me actually just get it back to you. No, I don't like this. Last time we talked about one of the idea is related to this slide. I'm not saying this is the only innovative idea. Definitely not. There's a lots of great idea out there. This is just an example for you to think about some new approach and new application of the technology in a different setting that you will turn that into new application. Okay, this is in my experience as a professor, I realize a lot of time student, especially undergraduate student, you will prohibit or limit yourself to think about something which could have been really innovative because you are being constrained by the system you're using. So you're using Google, you're using email, you're using Facebook, you're using whatever, the large language model, you're using ChatGPT. And I mean, those two are great. Those two are available. You can touch them. But those tools sometimes psychologically limit you about your imagination, about what could have been possible. Because you think that, oh, because YouTube is available, then why do I need anything beyond what YouTube have provide? And that is something, unfortunately, that limit our creativity. And sometimes, including myself, I call myself lazy because I thought, oh, I have something which is very happy. I can do whatever I want. Then I stop. But innovation is sometimes you have to think beyond what's possible. And this example actually show you, okay, we're going to remove the internet. We're going to make the internet somewhat different than the form of internet you're using every day. And how do you include the role of human being into the technological communication? And how do you do that? And last time I showed you the example about, well, how do you for example, connecting your banking information or connecting your alibi information or connecting your other type of information. So today I'm going to go a little bit deeper than this. So last time I was talking about, okay, you can have some kind of sensor and some kind of device, which is we call IoT, Internet of Things, and yet they're disconnect from the internet. So I'm going to follow that a little bit deeper into this example and show you another application, which I consider is interesting, just as an example, and then show you its implementation. And then this implementation has already been uploaded to the GitHub that you can leverage. You can, as an education purpose, you can take a look how this could be realized. But for the final project perspective, you can actually reuse any of the code. Okay, by the way, for final project, reusing my code or reusing each other's code is perfectly okay with me. I care less about whether you copy each other's program. I care more about what's your own innovative idea. If you have okay, I would say this is perfectly okay with me. If you have a two team of student, one team of student wrote a 0 line of code, but he is actually using, this team is using somebody else's code. But then this team has really, really good innovative idea to put this code together to do something innovative. I can tell you that the team who wrote 0 lines of code is going to be getting a much higher grade than the other. Okay, so you got what I'm saying. So I'm focusing on innovative, but the thing is you need to learn what's innovative and you need to talk to me so I will give you some hints on that. Okay, of course I can keep talking about this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a concept. I think I mentioned this already in the previous slide. It's called this is called what I call smart fridge. I think I talked about smart fridge because I had a minor argument with Google when Google wanted to promote this concept. So I focus a lot. I mean, any innovative idea, they have some background that's actually very foundational. That's very important. And in my mind at that time, I was focused on what I call a data-centric. So let me explain that. What do I mean by data-centric? So we are living in a data-centric world. I think all of you will agree. We're living in a data-centric world, and especially you guys' generation. In my generation, when I grow up, I don't have internet. I don't have too much data and being collected. But your generation, everything you're doing, including what I'm doing right now, is being collected. Last night I was sharing this with my wife. My wife was make something called 榨菜肉丝面, and I must have talked about this idea. I said I want to eat 榨菜肉丝面, and by 10 p.m. On my Facebook, it's all about the advertisement about good 榨菜肉丝面 restaurant in Tainan. Okay, I'm sorry. I have a valid reason to believe whatever I said about I don't even know how to translate. It's some so for those of you who don't understand what 榨菜肉丝面 is, it's a kind of noodle, okay, with some kind of pickle and some kind of shred pork together. That's my favorite food, okay, just to let you know. So it must have been picked up by the data collection, somewhat possibly related to Facebook app, I will guess. Just guess, okay? I do not claim anything here, but it must has been picked up somehow, and they somehow translate that into important informatics for the servers try to recommend something to us. I mean, is that good? You have to think about maybe it's convenient, but on the other hand, it's kind of dangerous because your data is out of our control. Our data is out of our control. Is that a good thing or bad thing? I don't know. Okay. I mean, of course, when I ask this question, you know, my answer is no, it's not good. Okay. But we kind of feel that's the way it is. And we kind of gave up. We kind of just occasionally complain about 榨菜肉丝面. Other than that, we did nothing. Okay. But we need to think about this. There are some opportunity of innovation when we actually think about the life we're living in right now. Okay, that's the kind of things I want to tell you. So the idea is this is a few things in data transparency. What we need is number one, we need privacy. We need to think about, well, what kind of data is about ours that we should have a way to control. It's about transparency. It's about transparency because we need to know. For example, people have been challenging major company. Major company include Google, include Facebook, include many others. They have been collecting our information in a way that, number one, we don't know what kind of data has been collected from us. And we don't know how did the data they collected about us was those data was used in a way to influence our life. Okay, if you think about that, our life has been influenced by a machine learning tool collecting data about us and people like us. And whether that's something you should care is something you should think about today. All right, you should think about today. Um, um, I have been thinking about this issue for at least 20 years, and I just feel I shouldn't say it's negative, but I think we need to think about a new innovative way about the information and the economics that's being pushed against us. Okay, and then there is issue about bias and adversarial machine learning. I mean, for example, if our data being collected by a company in Bay Area, and that company is using the data to generate some recommendation to our life, including our food, our health, or our political leaning. And yet that machine learning algorithm itself might be, because it's not transparent, it might be used by some other adversarial purpose, and which will influence our life, such as fake news, for example. Ultimately, in the data-centric life, it's important to think about ethics. Okay, if you're interested, I can tell you a lot more about ethics as a computational concept. Ethics is not about a human decision, but a computer program. How do you actually be able to catch that? Okay, so I'm going to use this idea called personalized coupon. Have you? That is an implementation. I actually just put it. Let me show you what I did over here, so you can take a look. GitHub. Where's GitHub? Yes, GitHub is here. This is Codebase. Is this the one? You see that I already upload the coupon. The coupon, let me show you coupon fridge. Smart fridge is there. Grocery, you're going to purchase the food item. You have a product and a bunch of other things, recommendation. And I have been putting all this storage space, those kind of inheritance hierarchy being pushing over there. So those are the implementation. about what do I mean by personalized instant coupon. So let me actually tell you, instant coupon is a very interesting. How many of you have used this? Do you know what coupon is? Does this word make anything to you? Coupon. Anybody use coupon? Okay, so coupon, I think in Chinese is called 折价券. Okay, it's called 折价券, that which means that you can when you want to purchase something in the grocery store, and what they will do is, okay, today if you buy this particular brand of ice cream, you can get 20% off. Okay, I mean that was my story. I tried to get some ice cream last night. If you saw me there, and I couldn't find any ice cream that's actually with a coupon or with some kind of discount. So I decide, okay, I'm going to wait until I have a discount. Then I'm going to consume ice cream. Okay, by the way, you got an idea. So what do I mean by personalized instant coupon? So typically today, the way how it works is that if you go to what's the English name for 全联? Anybody know? I actually want to be all English. Anybody know what's the English name for 全联? What kind of mart or something? Okay, all right. You said I will believe you because nobody provide alternative. You said is PX? Okay, PX. I would just call it PX. Okay, if I say PX, you know I'm talking about 全联. Okay, okay. So PX, they were usually promoting, saying that this particular week, what kind of food item or what kind of item is what we call on sale. On sale means that this short period of time is going to be very relatively cheaper. So obviously this is going to help us to encourage us to buy more about this food. So you walk into a store initially, you don't want to get ice cream, but suddenly you see ice cream is on sale. So that kind of push your willingness to eat ice cream by about 10%. So whatever coupon discount is trying to encourage us to buy or promote us to buy certain food. Okay, so what do I mean by personalized instant coupon? So so this is idea, which is, I would say Facebook like this a lot. Okay, so instead of for you to before you decide to go to PX, you look at what they call flyer to actually see what's their announcement. But what they can do is that, hey, I'm not going to send you this flyer. Instead, you have to visit my store. You have to visit my store. And when you walk in the store, I'm going to send you a personal discount on certain item. Okay, so that's why there are two things. One is personalized. Personalized means that if 65 of us walk into the PX, we're going to get different coupon because it's personalized. Okay, 10 years ago, you will think that this is impossible, but today is totally doable. You can see that when you walk into the PX will detect you're coming in. By the way, Facebook knows you're coming in. And then immediately it will actually look at your behavior and look at what you like. If they know I'm actually like to eat 榨菜肉丝面, they probably know a lot about me when I walk in. They probably know instantly this guy is addicted to ice cream. And immediately they will give me the best deal of ice cream. They can make the sales immediately when I visit. This is multiple reasons. Okay, multiple reasons. Number one, it actually gave me a surprise because usually I will have some plan for me to go to PX to buy certain thing. If I don't have a plan, I don't want to visit PX. But now I have a motivation to go to PX. Why? Because I don't know what's the surprise PX is going to give me. So if I have nothing to do, assuming I don't have homework to do or whatever, and I will go to PX and to pull out my phone and see what PX is trying to offer to specifically to me. And at that time, I would decide whatever I want to buy. So if you think about this, is very powerful. This will hold out your saving much quicker than if you don't have this mechanism. So number one is personalized. Number two is instant. Instant means that this coupon is only useful, available at the time you visit the store. Okay, by the way, this is when I proposed this idea, talk to, I'm not the only one proposed this idea. But at that time, when we talked to grocery store in US, especially in California, we actually realized there was an issue. What was the issue? The issue was now a lot of young people, like your generation, they decide not to visit a store like PX anymore. What they want to do is they want to do AWS, sorry, not AWS, Amazon. They will go to Amazon or similar service and then have the Amazon deliver to their home using whatever transportation system. So to me, the whole Amazon is just a intelligent storage and delivery system. If you think about that, it's where do I store the product and where do I route it? Where do I do promotion? And such that you don't have to go to a store like PX. You just stay at home, play whatever video game you like uninterrupted, and the food will immediately, whatever, will be dropped in front of your door and then for you to use. I mean, by the way, that's a pretty much the life of my own children when they grow up. Okay, I'm not proud about that as well. Okay, okay, whatever. So that's the concept, personalized instant coupon. Okay, so this is an example of an instant coupon. I use this example again. The coupon. What is a coupon? Coupon now is a JSON. Okay, it's a JSON pop up to this gentleman. So what happened is this gentleman. Let me give you this nice example. This gentleman, he walked into the store. This store is called Nugget. Okay, Nugget Market you can think about is a California version of PX. Okay, and I'm actually walking. Okay, usually the way I walk, I will just give an example. This could be me. I walk usually with a constant speed. But when I walk in front of the beer aisle, okay, you can see that there was an aisle. It's all about alcohol, beers, spirit, or whatever, red wine. And I actually walk slower. I walk slower. And guess what? This is a supermarket. They have all the camera. They can do AI behavioral analysis. They immediately know I actually have a non-zero extra probability be interesting in certain kind of product. Okay, so they will detect that, and immediately they actually realize, okay, today I want to promote this type of beer, and then immediately my phone will get this instant coupon at that moment. Okay, and this mode, if you look at the coupon has a discount 75%. Okay, which means that is 25% off, which is good. And this is from which store, and then this is from whatever product, specific product, and then this is to me. Okay, I mean I was using my example. I'm always using my own app. I call myself Oracle. So that's my avatar name, Oracle. So essentially, this is a coupon at that moment being sent to me. Okay, by the way, the program in the directory of GitHub, that was actually this scenario. It has this example was picked up from that program. Okay, just to let you know. Okay, so this is, if you think about that, this is pretty great, right? You walk into PX, and depending on your behavior, including the way you walk, where you have eyes contact. I mean, right now, what's the newest product of Facebook is like the glass that's actually help you to look at certain things, understand your intention, your interest. So those things are definitely technological available at this time. And then you can receive this. And guess what? With this kind of system, I believe the store like a PX can promote their sale by certain percentage. Okay, so that's the idea. So we basically translate your interest to a coupon and then to a purchase behavior. Okay, this is from the economically, this makes sense. Okay, from economically makes sense. But then you will ask, well, what kind of information that's needed to be collected in order to accomplish this? Okay, so remember I said, whenever you have an innovative idea, that this innovative idea always have to think about what's the impact to the society. And that's why is we immediately make a interesting reason that I want to promote in this. So this is being considered as my project called YSD, called UC Davis. By the way, this is the same name when I was at UC Davis, the other UC Davis, I call it UC Davis, okay? So the idea is here. Okay, so why did I show the interest? So my information about showing the interest in an alcohol product is obvious. I usually walk this way, but when I see the product, I actually walk slower. My eyes is pointing at this particular direction. But then why am I interested in this product? That is a deeper issue. Um, so this could be, I'm just a price sensitive because I'm a poor student and I don't have much money. So I usually want to find the best deal for me to purchase a certain product. That's actually one thing I want to purchase. I want to purchase. But the other reason I want to get is, well, maybe I have other reason. For example, I have alcohol addiction. I don't know if this term makes sense to you. Do you know what alcohol addiction is? Meaning that people is unresistible to a particular product or service. So this is bad because if a person is vulnerable to a certain product, and then we still send the promotion to that person, we'll just make his situation or his intention even worse to happen. So that is why we have to, well, as information processing, we have to think about. I mean, I want to tell you that today, I will argue very few or even none of the product today, they really concern about your addiction to certain service or certain product. When they think about, okay, I want to make money. I mean, just example, I want to make money from this particular alcohol vendor. I want to help them to advertise. Okay, you can think about how many company is advertised for product from a company, is a tobacco company or is an alcohol company. There is a lot. I want to make money for those companies through advertising their product. And yet I have to consider the health or the mental health of a customer who will consume this product. I can tell you that the current company, you can challenge me on this. They did minimum to actually worry about this. So meaning that the company needs to make money or your health or your mental health. I'm sorry, I'm going to choose the money instead of choosing mental health. Okay, I mean, they're just using, okay, I want to say this. I mean, I might get myself into trouble, I don't think. What they want is getting your information, collecting your information to help them to sell more of the product to hurt you. That's what I'm saying. Okay, if you think about that, it's free. You're giving away your information, but that's what happened. So therefore, that's why my career I've been focused on. Well, how do I actually change this? Because it doesn't make sense. We're contributing our information for free. We're using a free service, yes, but those services are actually questionable. Okay, so when I decide on this, I of course this before I get into the detail. So this is the innovative things. Why is this innovative? It's actually different from the service we're using today. So the way I approach, just give you an example, how I approach this person is that I actually want to preserve, instead of preserve my short-term sale, I want to preserve what I call customer lifetime value. Okay, I want this customer to live happy and longer and healthy, and such that it will have the life to positively enjoy the product. In some sense, I'm actually not going to promote. If you're doing advertisement, you shouldn't promote the product that will be harmful for the customer. So basically, we're looking at the customer lifetime value, which is really lacking for today. So I'm actually want to tell you that this is just an example for you to think about a innovative idea that you can do that. Okay, but then you're going to say, well, what kind of information that's necessary to accomplish this? So obviously, if I want to do this in this example, I need to know that this person is alcohol addicted. Okay, this person is addicted to alcohol. That's why I need to make a decision such that to help this customer to at least not give him that 25% discount. I might just say, hey, I'm not prohibit this person to purchase the alcohol product, but at least I don't need to give him 25% discount, which is very important. And how do I do that? Of course, you will think about privacy. Okay, let me tell you that this is the other big argument I have with the other side of the world. So today, our service, I don't want to, I hate to say which company it is. You probably already know which company I meant. But the company who collect our information, they're not explicit. They're implicit. They're actually seeing what you say, what you wrote, and which site you visit, and decide whether you're interested in certain thing. So this is implicit, which means that it might not be accurate. But what I believe is I can do it explicit if I let the individual user control the information. I don't know if you remember, I talked about internet disconnected approach, meaning that we can control the data. You control your own data. So when I go to the store in my implementation, I actually not only carry about my interests, I carry my health record. I have a health record, I go to the store. That store is disconnected from the internet. And I will present my health record to them so they will realize, okay, you don't have an alcohol addiction issue, then I'm willing to give you 25%. But that's explicit, means that the information is about yours. You're using that information to show the store you're okay to occasionally enjoy a certain product. Okay, that's the idea. So today they're doing implicit, which means that, let me give you an example. The argument I always say is that, do you know how does Google figure out, I shouldn't say Google, how does a company started with a G figure out you might be addicted to a product, or G or F, I don't care. Okay, so they actually look at the keyword or the site you visit. For example, you actually visit a certain site which is related to how do you combat with alcohol addiction. For example, I mean, do I know that because you visit certain site, you actually have the issue about addiction? Maybe not. Maybe not about this person, but you're doing this for your friend. You're doing that for your family. I don't know. It's very implicit. That's why it's not going to be too accurate. But I think it's a trade-off. If I can control the information like I presented last time, then I will be able to pick it up. Okay. So this is all about what I call we can make the data. There are two issues. One is make it transparent. Second is make it control. Now you can control your information and how this information is being used. So you can not only make a store to make a decision to help you in a way that's ethical, but you can directly challenge both your data and the algorithm when you walk in to a PX store. That's kind of the transparency that's actually needed for our next generation AI system. Okay, so by doing this, now let's take a look at the program. How do I actually realize this program? Let's go to the code. I'm going to show you only one piece of code. I think that is good enough for you to kind of idea is that when I talk so much, you will think, oh, that's horrible. That's a lifelong project. I have to spend 20 years for EE1520 before I can complete anything. I'm sorry, that's not true. I'm going to show you a very simple way you can do that. I'm going to show you this program called grocery.cpp, YSD grocery.cpp. Remember I said, you're not going to build the whole system. What you need to do is a scenario. And you can specify your scenario as a JSON format and then develop the class or reuse the class. That's why I said you potentially can write very few lines of code. And then you can actually realize or demonstrate a few scenario within the innovative idea you have. So it's different for take an innovative idea into a complete system versus have an innovative idea, develop a few, maybe just two scenario that related to your innovative idea. And by the way, a lot of startup company, including Google, if you can develop just one or two scenario, that's enough for venture capitalists. They actually like your idea, they will put in money to help you to realize the whole thing. Okay, so that's why. So this is the application. I'm actually writing in a very simple way. This is a YSD grocery, and you can see what I did here is I'm actually creating a person. I said a person is a father, a person is a mother, and then I have a person child. Okay, and then I have a GPS location, just like before, and then I have an internet connection, which is not very essential in this case, but to realize the disconnected internet, that this is useful. So I basically model. By the way, IP address is also in the directory. This was not there before. So I have two IP.cpp, which is the IP address over there. And then I have the fridge. Okay, the fridge. Okay, remember I started the whole project with the concept called fridge. And the fridge is a storage, which is contain the food item. And the fridge has a bunch of history. History means each of the is a vector of transaction. So those things are being defined already in the fridge. So what is a transaction? A transaction is you decide to add a bottle of milk, for example, into your fridge on this day. So you actually purchase the milk, you put it in at this time. Or you decide to consume an apple at this time, which means that this is transaction, you remove this apple from this fridge. Okay, so now I want to tell you my relationship between me, my family, and PX. So assuming last night I did purchase okay, I didn't, but assume I purchased ice cream from PX. So what I'm doing is there is a fridge object in PX, which is storing the ice cream, a particular brand of ice cream. So when I did the purchase of ice cream, I'm actually removing as a transaction, remove the ice cream from the one of the PX fridge. And then I have a transportation, which you can, for ice cream, maybe it's good. You better assume the transportation will not be too long for the ice cream to melt. But for this project, you can neglect it. You can assume that there is no problem about the timing, about transportation. But it's really a purchase of ice cream is removing that ice cream from the fridge of PX and then have another transaction to add this ice cream to the fridge at my home. Okay, so it's moving from PX fridge to my fridge. So that's, if you think about that, that's how the food is being transported. So you think about how do I implement this purchase behavior, it's just moving mobility. This is what I call object mobility. By the way, what is object mobility? Is that, okay, when I remove the ice cream, I actually convert the ice cream into a JSON. So it becomes a JSON ice cream in JSON format. And then I use JSON RPC to move that JSON to my home server. And my home server, I convert that JSON into C++ object and insert it to my my own fridge. So you think about that. Is everything is programmable, but just using the existing process. So that's why what is a fridge? A fridge is, this is my home because I always purchase from Costco in Woodland. So what I have is a vector about transaction, and the transaction represent what kind of food being added to my fridge and when it was added. And also I need to know for each of the food, how long it can be valid. For example, if you buy a gallon of milk, probably this food is only be good for about a week. So if you didn't finish the milk, then you have a safety issue. Your fridge is going to tell me you better throw away that gallon of milk because it's expired to use. Okay. All right, so now I have you can see that I have a transaction, and I can push it back as a transaction. And then I can say for the fridge, I can actually decide who can access to the fridge. Okay, this is interesting because sometimes a family has 3 members, but sometimes you have a guest. You have a guest that come to your home, you can actually handle that. And then you can I create a grocery store, and you can see that I have a grocery store called Nugget, which is the PX. And then you can see that inside the grocery store, I also have a fridge. I actually implement a fridge, and this fridge is at Nugget. Okay, I have that. And then I can start to specify different product. For example, I have 2 product. One product is the beer, the American craft root beer. This is actually alcohol product. I remember I check every number here is a real number. Okay, it's a real product. I actually automatically pulled out from a database in US. I forgot the code name that every single product has a. So I just use the example. One of the product is the beer. One of the product is a diaper. Okay, for some reason, this is a funny story. You can actually check on this. People realize you have a correlation. If a person who purchased diaper, it's likely if it's a male, it will purchase beer as well. Okay, I don't know why, but there is a correlation between beer and the diaper. Okay, so I have this product, and then I have an item product. You can see that currently the product is in the fridge of the Nugget. Okay, so I create this product, I create this item under this product, and then I create the beer of the product. And then you can see that the beer, the current following the transaction, the current is at the Nugget fridge, but the next one is my fridge. That means I'm actually moving this product from a fridge to another fridge. Okay. And then we need to check the credential. If you want to buy the product, I have to check I neglect this part. By the way, in your homework or final project, you can neglect certain thing. I do have a credential class, which in this example, I didn't have the credential, but you should look at whether you're 21 years old to use this product and things like that. And then you can decide if everything is okay, you're sending the product. You're sending the product of Nugget you can see that I'm sending at Narget. I'm actually sending when you're in this visit and this product and toward a particular person with a beer 25% off. Okay, so that's kind of a very simple example to show you that you can use the object, the class, to be able to represent a scenario. This is just a scenario to move one product from one fridge to the other with a concern about the alcohol and with other whatever concern you want to have. Okay, so I hope this will give you some idea about what I'm looking at. I'm looking at really good idea. I want you to think about your own life and think about what perspective is interesting. The reason I developed this code for you is that I want to shortening your time such that you don't have to build everything from scratch. You can think about something which is related to the existing class and using inheritance or directly use it and be able to come up with a scenario. Okay, I'm going to stop here and I will talk to you on Thursday. Okay, I probably will talk a little bit final project. I want to show you a demo, which I didn't have time. And then I'm going to talk about resume our topic to the C++, the rest of the topic. Okay, bye.
但之前你就跟我讲过说，就是有时候不喜欢大公司的这些行为，然后也想要。